Hello, my name is Lauren and welcome to the Theoretical YouTube channel, where today we are talking about possibly the two most controversial additions to the Harry Potter franchise. Crimes of Grindelwald and The Cursed Child. Now, no matter what you think of these two stories, whether you love them or hate them, you have to admit that there's at least some stuff to talk about. It's new Harry Potter lore whether we like it or not. So, one of my biggest questions from Crimes of Grindelwald kind of happened before the movie came out. Right before the film released in theaters, they released these character posters, which pretty much featured a character and a little blurb about where they were at the start of the story. My two favorite were probably the two most cryptic. Queenie's just said whereabouts unknown, but Lita Lestrange's had a key new piece of information, that she was implicated by prophecy. And I scoured the internet trying to figure out exactly which prophecy was being referenced here. And I found nothing, so I just had to wait till the film came out, like a normal fan. But luckily, the film gave us every line of the new prophecy, which character each line referred to, and why. And then basically disregarded the entire thing, basically saying that this prophecy had nothing to do with this film at all. Well, sure, maybe not this film, but there are a whole lot of Harry Potter characters out there. Surely the prophecy can fit in somewhere. And guys, I think I found it. I think we know exactly who the poem of Tycho Dodonus refers to. And it is not who you think. Okay, first of all, prophecies are really weird in the Harry Potter series because every single one that we actually know about came true. But Dumbledore, a source I tend to trust on these sort of things, seems to think that they don't have to, that there's some sort of free will or choice involved in the process. But regardless, prophecies are a very important part of the Harry Potter series. The prophecy about Voldemort and Harry pretty much drives the entire main book series. Trelawney's second prophecy pretty much brings Voldemort back from the dead. The Cursed Child is all about preventing and fulfilling a prophecy that predicts Voldemort's return. And of course, Fantastic Beasts hit us with the predictions of Tycho Dodonus in the Crimes of Grindelwald. Tycho Dodonus was apparently a seer whose entire body of prophecies was condensed and bound up into a single book of poetry. And the only one that we actually hear in the film is number 20, and it goes like this. A son cruelly banished, despair of the daughter, return great avenger with wings from the water. And believe me, I tried as hard as possible to figure out some way to make this actually about Harry Potter himself. It just doesn't fit. But it doesn't fit in Crimes of Grindelwald either, even though everyone is convinced that it's about the Lestrange family, as Yusuf Kama explains.
There stands the despairing daughter. You are the winged raven, returned from the sea, but I am the avenger of my family's ruin.
Baby Corvus is the banished son, Lita is the despairing daughter, and he himself is the avenger of his mother. And I guess since Corvus drowned and Credence is now associated with phoenixes and the Dumbledores, there's your wings and water. But, as I feel like we keep having to remind people, Credence isn't Corvus Lestrange. This prophecy is not about this movie. So then, who is the son, the daughter, and the avenger? Well, starting with the banished son, my mind immediately jumped to Sirius Black, who was exiled from his family. Seems cruel to me. But then the rest of the poem just doesn't make sense. Even if you stretched the line about the daughter to somehow include Bellatrix, it just doesn't seem like the prediction is referring to the Black family at all. And while there are plenty of despairing female characters in the series to choose from, I couldn't shake the idea that the prophecy is referring to just one specific family, since there is that connection to both sons and daughters. And of course, families, in the proper sense, are another important feature in the Harry Potter series. In particular, the sacred 28 pureblood lines, including some some familiar ones like Malfoy, Black, Lestrange, Weasley, Longbottom, and Crouch. But one that always sticks out to me on the list is the Gaunt family. If you haven't read Half-Blood Prince in a while, here is a quick refresher. The Gaunt family is where Voldemort's magic blood comes from. The last of the once distinguished house consisted of Marvolo Gaunt and his two children, Morphin and Merope. Merope was abused all her life because everyone thought she was a squib and it brought shame to her family. She also fell in love with a muggle who did not love her back. She tricked him into marrying her with a love potion and then gave birth to her son, who she promptly abandoned because then she died. Hated by her father, abandoned by her husband, and outcast from her society, Merope Gaunt was one of the most despairing daughters in the entire Harry Potter franchise. Also, her son was Voldemort. Guess I forgot to mention that. Which brings me to a son cruelly banished and how Tom Riddle actually fills that role quite well. Tom Marvolo Riddle was born and left at a Muggle orphanage on December 31st, 1926, where he grew up for the next 11 years without friends or family. He was effectively banished from the wizarding world for his entire childhood, cruelly not necessarily by his mother, but by the two worlds who refused to claim him until it was too late. Okay, so far so good. We got the son, we got the daughter. Now for the hard part. Because things with wings don't hang out in the water. Except for ducks. But those aren't a Harry Potter symbol. But seriously though, even in Crimes of Grindelwald, this line was just kind of brushed over, never really explained. Anyway, this is where we have to talk about the cursed child. In order for this theory to work, we actually have to acknowledge the events of this play as canon. And I really don't want to do that, but the evidence is there, and like I said before, it's at least something to talk about, because the Gaunt line didn't end with Tom Riddle. According to the cursed child, Voldemort had a daughter with Bellatrix Lestrange. And Delphine Riddle, Lestrange, Gaunt, Diggory, whatever you want to call her, is the key to understanding the rest of the Tycho Dodonus poem. First of all, Delphine is characterized as a type of magical creature called an augury, and it becomes her symbol for the rest of the play. It represents her, and more importantly, the return of Voldemort and his vision for the world. And that's where we get the other key to this puzzle box, because in order to have a returning Avenger, they actually have to go somewhere in the first place. And without a shadow of a doubt, the character that returns the most in this series is Voldemort. That guy bounced back from the dead. Maybe twice? And in the eyes of Delphine, she is avenging her father's unjust murder by twisting the laws of time to bring him back. And so yes, we get the return of the Great Avenger with the wings from the water at his side. Wait a second, I didn't actually explain how Delphine is the wings. Hold on, my bad. Well, bluntly put, auguries have wings. Boom. Okay. There's more. For one thing, the cursed child specifically points out that Delphine's symbol is a bird. Alba says, oh, hey, look, on your back, I hadn't noticed it before. The wings, is that what Muggles call a tattoo? Delphi, oh yes, it's an augury. Scorpius goes on to explain that in the alternate reality he saw, in which Voldemort had risen to power, they called Delphine, his right hand, the augury. And this is the reality in which Delphine won, where she actually fulfilled the prophecy and brought her father back. But more importantly for us today is how she did it, how Delphine actually fulfilled both the prophecy in the play and the one by Tycho Dodonus. It was by getting Albus and Scorpius to engorge Cedric Diggory's bubblehead charm in the second task of the Triwizard Tournament, causing him to rise out of the water and humiliate him, setting off a series of chain reactions that eventually saved Voldemort from Harry Potter. But think about that image again. Cedric's body rising from the water, all orchestrated by someone represented by a pair of wings. A son cruelly banished, despair of the daughter, return Great Avenger with wings from the water. Maybe you don't even need Merope in here at all to make the prophecy work. Whether Delphine is just the wings or also the daughter works either way. But there's even more! You know how everyone thought the prophecy was about the Lestrange family? What if it still was? Delphine isn't just the daughter of Voldemort, but also Bellatrix Lestrange, who, yes, married into the family, but it's actually her husband Rodolphus who tells Delphine about the prophecy that she's supposed to fulfill. As Delphine clearly states in the play, it was Rodolphus Lestrange, Bellatrix's loyal husband, who on return from Azkaban told me who I was and revealed the prophecy he thought I was destined to fulfill. Not reading at all. Nope, had that memorized. But what if he told her 2 prophecies? After all, of course he'd know about the Tycho Dodonus poem. It was less than a century before that everyone thought it was about his family, that it brought shame to his family. And that is the connection between the Gaunts and the Lestranges. But okay. You still don't believe me. Maybe you just aren't convinced, maybe you just hate the cursed child. But clearly, some sort of theme about prophecy in general is built around these 3 characters. Starting with auguries being magical birds who are most notable for being able to foretell death. And of course, there's the fact that every prophecy that we've heard in the Harry Potter series so far has referred to Tom Riddle in some capacity. The one with the power to vanquish the Dark Lord approaches. The Dark Lord will rise again with his servant's aid. When spares are spared, when time is turned, fathers are murdered by their unseen children, the Dark Lord will return. Yeah, that writing's on par with the rest of the series. Yeah. Even Merope Gaunt has a connection here. In Greek mythology, Merope was the adoptive mother of Oedipus, who had been banished from his home as Thebes as a baby because he was prophesied to kill his father. And oh look, what was the first murder Voldemort ever committed? His father, you say? And here's the clincher, even the name Tycho Dodonus is a well-established reference to prophecies. Something you'd probably know if you were keeping up with the Percy Jackson series and the Trials of Apollo. Dodona and the Grove of Dodona was a location in ancient Greece that was the seat of one of the most famous oracles in Greece. In fact, I'd say it was the second most famous site after the one that brings everything back together. The location where Oedipus's parents learned of their fate. And that, the most prestigious seat of prophecy in all of ancient Greece, with a direct line to the god of prophecy himself, was the Oracle of Delphi. And Delphine's nickname throughout the entirety of the Cursed Child is Delphi. Or Delphi. It's literally spelled the same. A banished son, some despairing daughters, an avenger who just keeps on coming back, and some wings rising from the water. That is how I interpret poem number 20 from the predictions of Tycho Dodonus. Okay, you kind of have to be like a deep cut fan of Harry Potter to understand this video, but hey, it all came together. What do you think? Is the prophecy in Crimes of Grindelwald about the Gaunt family? Is there a more obvious solution I just missed? Could someone just please tell me it was about Harry Potter the entire time? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and didn't zone out too much when I mentioned Half-Blood Prince. Even if you did, you can still head down to the section right here and click various random buttons until you've liked, commented, and subscribed. You can also fumble your way onto Twitter to gain access to the Death Ray codes that I'll be sending out next week, but only if you follow us at Theory_Central. So that is all I have for you today. Thanks for watching. The time travel in the Cursed Child still makes no sense, but I will see you later.
Corvus Lestrange is already dead. I killed him.